Hey, what's going on, guys? So today I'm coming to you with my 2018 Rebel version of what to buy first for Star Wars Armada. There are two factions in this game. I'm just going to focus on the Rebels because sometimes players will just focus on a single faction. So for all of you people who are playing Rebels, this is what I think you should buy first. Now, before I get into the nitty-gritty of it, I do want to point out that I've kind of broken down this list based on a number of factors, and this has changed since my last list. A couple more expansions are out now, and a lot of things have changed. There's a lot of new synergies. I am also including Squadrons, but I'm going to do those at the end. I also want to preface this with this game isn't all about winning. This is a beautiful game. It's a fun game. It's Star Wars. There's a whole lot more going on here than just winning. So not everything in this list is ranked purely by how competitive it is. It's kind of a factor of a lot of different things on how fun it is, how much use you're going to get out of it, and things like that. So, and I also want to start off by saying you don't have to take my advice at all. I think the game is in a really good spot right now, so where everything is moderately well balanced with each other. So if there's something that you really like you really want a home one first, and I didn't tell you to get a home one first, get a home one first. It's fine. They're so flexible, and it was actually hard to come up with this list because I can make an argument for any ship to be your first ship, or almost any ship. So with all that being said, I am going to go ahead and start off that you do need a core set first, right? Obviously, everybody needs a core set first. Sometimes you can split a core set with a friend, but the core set's going to get you a CR90 and a Nebulon B, plus everything you need to play. Gets you General Dodonna, you get some X-Wings, you get a couple of Squadrons taken care of. So I generally don't tell people to get Squadrons right away because you already have enough to play around with in the core set. But when you get into expansions beyond the core set, I'm suggesting actually the Profundity as my number one pick for what to buy first. This is the latest expansion. This is Wave 7 for Armada, so the game is doing pretty good. We're into our 7th wave now, and this expansion has shaken up the game a lot. It's done so much. So why am I saying to get the Profundity? First off, I think the ship itself is extremely well balanced. It can fit into a multitude of lists, and it can do almost anything. The two versions are very different, but also, you know, that it's just very versatile. It's great for side arcs. It's great for coming right at you. It's got a lot of hull. It's pretty survivable. It can serve as a flagship. It can serve as a flanker. It's fast enough it's got the speed 3, so it can try to get around and broadside you, or it can charge right at you and hit you with black dice. Just a really overall strong ship. And also, as part of Wave 7, it really helps make large ships better, and that's one of the things that the game had been needing for a while. You're also getting Admiral Raddus here, who really gives you so much flexibility with deployment, and it's having a lot of fun. There's a whole lot of fun factor in this game. It's also very competitive, I think, too. But you're also getting some really awesome cards in here. A lot of things are going to help enhance large ships, and work really well with this ship. And also an upgrade you're going to get that's really nice is the heavy ions, which are really going to help out. And it also synergizes with a little bit with your core set, because the heavy ion emplacements that you're going to get in here can make a CR90B version really deadly. So, you know, this one got what edged this one out, beyond just the fun factor and the fact that it's new, and if you like Rogue One, this is great. If you hate Rogue One, then you don't have to get this too. But is the fact that I think because it has such synergy with a ship you already have in the core set, so it can turn your blue version of your CR90 into, you know, a really dangerous force. I think that gives it a little bit extra value in this case. So the Profundity for my first pick. Next up, the MC30 Frigate expansion pack. So the MC30 is one of those packs that has a lot of really good cards in here. Like the ship itself is solid, but the cards itself that it comes with, really strong cards. You get a lot of, you're getting a lot of good black dice support, which also synergizes with the Profundity. You're getting turbo laser reroute circuits, which synergize with a CR90A from your core set. So turbo laser reroute circuits is great. You're getting good titles here, but you're also getting General Riken, who is a good commander, and he works really well with this particular ship. I don't think you'll need him as much with the Profundity. But another thing that makes this really a nice second purchase, especially if you got the Profundity first, is here's a cheap option for you to get another MC ship. So one of the things that the Profundity comes with 2 titles for ships that start with MC, and it's nice to, if you want to maximize your engineering, this is one way to do that by having another MC ship. It's not an option. It's not a mandatory option, but it's an option. It's a nice, it's one of the cheapest ships you can get that's also going to be able to take that MC title. Next up, the Hammerhead Corvettes. The Hammerhead Corvettes aren't a super cheap expansion because you're paying for 2 ships in one, but it is a great expansion. This was part of Wave 6. You're getting Leia as a commander. You're getting 2 ships. Each, of course, has 2 cards, so you're getting a lot of versatility with this expansion. But you're also getting a lot of doubles for certain important cards. This ship definitely has some synergy with the Profundity. If you were going to run one of these as the Black Dice version, it's really nice because the Profundity's title allows you to take a ship, a small ship with Command 1, and this is one of them that you can drop right at range 1 of somebody and activate it first. So that not Radis, but the Profundity title specifically, you're still allowed to activate it first. So these are really nice if you have a Profundity already, but they're generally good all around. You're also getting 2 external racks, which are really nice, especially with one of the MC75s. If you want to run, lots of ordnance upgrades, now you've got that. Also synergizes with the MC30. Too, because external racks is an option for them as well. So just a lot of overall synergy between these first 3 expansions. I like all 3 of them. They kind of work together. Another option is the Liberty. This is my number 4 pick. The Liberty is just a really, really good pick. It's one of the first ships I actually recommended, I think, in my last video. It's because it's so self-contained, it's so strong, and this one can actually work pretty well with Radis too, if Radis wants to warp a Liberty in kind of angled and pincer another formation or something like that. It's really nice that way. But overall, this is a pretty self-contained expansion. You're getting Maydeen in this one, which helps the Liberty, of course, and it also helps the Profundity. Profundity can work well with Maydeen. I know you're getting one of the best upgrades in the game. You're getting Spinal Armament in here. Fire Control Team is a new got new life breathed into it with Wave 7, and that you can find that here as well, so that's also another really good one. Before we get into the next ones, we're starting to get, those were kind of like my top tier, and then we're getting into like my tier 2, and a lot of these might have dependencies. This may be the time where you want to start buying Squadrons, some extra Squadron packs after you've done your first ship or 2. And again, I am going to talk about Squadrons at the end of the video, but yes, so this is probably a good time for you to consider buying maybe your first Squadron pack, because some of these other stuff have dependencies, at least in my opinion. So the Rebel Transports. Rebel Transports, great expansion. They're very cheap. They fit into just about any list, which is a great thing. They have a lot of support that they can do. You're also going to get General Kraken, who is one of the lesser good generals. I mean, he's not bad. He works better for the, he works good with rebels, but he works better with like lots of small ships, and you have to fly them a specific way, so there's a pretty good chance he might end up not doing that much for you. But you do get Torrin Far, which is a great support. And again, like between Torrin Far and this ship itself, it's just better if you have Squadrons, because one of the things that's best about the Rebel Transports is they make for a cheap Squadron activating. They make for basically a cheap carrier. So really nice pack. You probably want to get multiples of these over time, but having at least one is an extra activation, it's an extra deployment, it's cheap, it can offer some great utility. Just an overall great pack, but better if you have Squadrons. Next up, the Assault Frigate Mark II. This is probably the most well-rounded ship. Well, perhaps before the Profundity came out, because I think maybe the Profundity is the most well-rounded ship now. But the Assault Frigate Mark II is the cheaper version of the most well-rounded ship for the Rebellion. Great ship. My biggest complaint about this ship is it's ugly. Unless you played the video games that this ship was in, you might not be that familiar with it. And so for a lot of people, they look at this one as the one ship in the game that doesn't look Star Warsy enough. And, and so that might be something that makes you not want this again. Again, it really, what trumps all of my advice is your own preference. If you really loved this ship, and you played, was it Empire at War, I believe, then maybe this will have a special affinity with you. You may want this as your first ship. No problem. I mean, there are really no wrong choices here, or very few wrong choices. But yeah, it's a good ship. It's at a reasonable cost. It's the only medium ship in the Rebels' arsenal. But so when you get the Assault Frigate, you're also getting Garm Bel Iblis, who's kind of still needs some help. He's still not a very good commander right now. But you're also getting some really good stuff like Adar Talon, who's amazing. But again, better if you've got some more squadrons. Another thing that I think assault frigates we're going to work well with is they have a lot of synergy with other builds, specifically Akbar builds, which of course you wouldn't have yet. So, which leads me into this. The next one is the home one. These two kind of work well together, and so I have them grouped in my tier 2 because I think they kind of had a dependency on each other. The home one expansion was in wave 2. It was the first large ship that the rebels got, and is by all accounts a really strong ship. It's just got a few weaknesses, and that it's got no weapons team, so and that's a really important upgrade for a ship. It would really benefit from having a weapons team, and that it's slow. It only has that speed 2, so you have to give it engine techs if you wanted to kind of keep up with everybody else. But other than that, it is a really good ship. It's one of the tankiest ships in the game. It's got that double defensive retrofit. It comes with Admiral Akbar, which is huge. He's one of the best commanders for the rebels. Synergizes really well with the Assault Frigate Mark II. Between the two, I had the Assault Frigate Mark II higher because if you could only get one, I think the Assault Frigate Mark II gives you way more versatility, whereas the home one is a lot less versatile for a ship. But yes, so the home one, great ship. It has synergy. Again, it's another MC ship too. So if you've got the Profundity and you're looking for more MC title ships, the Liberty, the MC30, and then the home one as well. A lot of upgrades in this pack. It's an expensive pack. It's one of the, I think, the $40 ones, but a good ship, really nice. And you're getting Akbar. So, but Akbar with assault frigates is a really popular build for a long time, and it's still competitive. All right, now we're getting into tier 3. These have more dependencies, and I think you're kind of getting a little bit less out of them. So we're going to jump into the third tier of stuff. Nebulon B standalone expansion. So this came out with in the core wave, right? And you already get a Nebulon B in your core set. So I have this one ranked lower for that reason. Another reason this one's ranked lower is that one of the best uses from this expansion involves a lot of squadrons, and it requires you to have kind of a wealth of squadrons. So there are a lot of prerequisites to this expansion. So that's why I have it lower. That's why it's in tier 3. However, it doesn't mean it's a tier 3 ship. There are uses for this ship that completely dominate the game. They're very, very competitive. So, what do you get in this? First off, you're getting some great cards. You're getting XI7s. XI7 is a great turbo laser upgrade because it basically shuts down redirect. You're getting the Salvation title, which is a very good offensive title. Doesn't really see a whole lot of use, but I think it's definitely, it's overall, it's good. And then second off, you're getting the Yavaris, which is one of the best titles in the game. Absolutely one of the best titles in the game. It basically lets your squadrons that it activates attack twice. That's awesome. That's really, really good. And so the Nebulon B is really, really good for that. But in order to really employ it and employ these new titles that you're getting in this expansion, it does kind of require that you have some depth of squadrons beyond just a couple of X-Wings that you get in the core set. So if you've got all those, this is great. Especially if you want to go squadrons, you want to go with bombers and things like that. Great buy to get. But again, usually not your first. So next up is the CR90. Again, another ship that we've already got one of, right? We already have a CR90 in our core set. This one does have some nice things, and it's definitely worth picking one up. But just there's no rush because this isn't stuff that you can't absolutely live without. So you are getting Mon Mothma in this expansion. Mon Mothma is a great commander. Love Mon Mothma. She's actually one of the better Rebel commanders. I think she's just kind of out of fashion right now. I don't see a lot of people running Mon Mothma, but she's very good. So Ramus Antilles, great card. You get leading shots in here. It's also a really good card. And you're getting some titles. The better title you get in here is Jaina's Light, which is actually a pretty good title as well. And so while all of this stuff is good, I don't think any of it is crucial, and having multiple CR90s is always a good thing because it's a cheaper ship, and there's definitely ways to employ them to make them really strong. But again, a lot of it has dependencies. Like another CR90 would be really good, but if you had an extra MC30 with turbo laser reroute circuits to give to it, or another CR90 might be good if you had a couple of Profundity expansions and you had extra heavy ions and you wanted to load up on CR90Bs. There's a lot of different ways that this is a great buy, but there just no rush. That's why I kind of have it in tier 3. It's not a bad ship, So just, you don't have to hurry that hard on it. And then last up is the Phoenix Home expansion. This is actually not a bad ship now. This was at the bottom of my list last time. It's still at the bottom of my list, but for different reasons this time. So the Phoenix Home has been kind of one of the most underwhelming ships in the Rebellion. Now with Wave 7, it's gotten significantly better. Significantly better, but the problem is that there's a lot of dependencies on the Phoenix Home for it to shine. And one of those dependencies is that it's causing you to cross the aisle. If you really want this ship to perform, I think, at maximum potential for the Rebellion, you have to go and buy the Chimera expansion for the Imperials so that you can get Intensify Firepower. I'm sure that will eventually become available for the Rebellion at some point, or at least I hope so, because that's one of the best things that you can do with the Phoenix Home right now is run Intensify Firepower on it, which is great. I mean, there are other things that are good too. There's some stuff that come with the Profundity that's going to be nice, but this one does require, a lot stuff from a lot of other expansions, I think, to shine. However, it's still not bad. It's getting a lot better, but because it's asking you to buy stuff across the aisle, that's why I have it at the bottom right now. Now, another thing about this one is you're getting Sato. Sato is actually becoming a lot better. He's a good commander. If you have all the pieces in place, and of course, a lot of dependencies here if you've got a lot of squadrons, and you need a depth of squadrons for this to really work, for a Sato build to really work, this ship can be great. So I'm not, by having this one at the end, I want to clarify, this is not the worst ship in the game. It's just, for a new player, I think maybe this is one of the later ships that you should buy, because at an advanced level, this can be a very, very good ship now. It's definitely getting up there. And so that's why I have this one kind of at the end for ships. We do also have the Karelian Conflict. It's not a ship. I have this one below Phoenix Home. It's kind of like maybe the last thing to buy, because one of the biggest reasons is you don't get anything, any plastic in this box. Now, you get a lot of cards. The cards you get are good. There's new objectives in here, and those objectives are really cool. But again, they're for more advanced play. If you're new and you're getting into Armada, play with the regular objectives, get familiar with those, and then eventually, consider this as like an advanced player's kit. Now, the campaign itself, you can always play somebody else's campaign. You don't need your own campaign in order to play in the campaign or to participate in somebody's campaign. So if you're kind of on the fence about it, one of the best things to do is find somebody else who's running a campaign and try to get in on it. Now, that being said, there are also squadrons in here that you're going to be able to get, or at least squadron cards, but they were going to require you to have the matching corresponding squadron, and those basically will be for like Rebel Fighters 1. It'll be like new A-Wings, B-Wings, and things like that. If you don't already have Rebel Fighters 1, then this isn't going to do a whole lot for you. You are still going to get, a new X-Wing. You're also going to get a new, objectives, but again, you're really not getting that much for your dollar unless you're actually running the campaign, or you at least have all of the squadrons and everything else in here that, and it's also dual faction, so you're buying stuff, and half of the stuff that comes in here is also for the Empire. So if you're only a Rebel player, half of the stuff you're getting as far as the squadrons, you can't even use. So that's why I have this one at the bottom. There's no rush to get this. Play somebody else's. Eventually, when you're rounding out your collection, get this, because the squadrons that come in here are great. Or they're squadron upgrades, I guess you could call them, because it's a different version of, it doesn't give you the plastic. So you're going to be like, okay, do I want to run, this X-Wing, or do I want to run Rogue Squadron? Something like that. All right, so now we're going to talk about squadrons. So at some point between Tier 1 and Tier 2, is and it's going to depend on your own playstyle, because, regardless of which faction you're getting, the core set comes with TIE Fighters and X-Wings. So you're going to have some squadrons to start yourself off with and kind of get the feel for how they work. So a lot of people are like, well, what about squadrons? Where should I, what should I buy first? So for me, I'm going to suggest you get your maximum value off of Rebel Fighters 2. And the reason I say that is because you get 8 ships in here, 8 squadrons, 2 of each type, and all of them are going to be brand new to you. And some of them are really, really, really good. Z95s, cheap, really cheap. You're getting Hera and the Ghost, and you're getting 2 versions of that VCX, and they have strategic, or the VCX has strategic. You can run 2 VCXs, or you can run Hera and a VCX, so you can run them however you want. But Hera's also really nice. She's expensive, but she's also really nice. You're getting Lancers. The Lancers are really good. They're actually really strong, good bombers. And then you're getting E-Wings, which have Snipe, which is a whole new mechanic that's I don't see used a whole lot, but if you don't have intel from the rogues and villains, snipe can be a nice way to kind of, skirt around the edges and kind of, ignore your enemy squadrons or not get tied up by them, so that's good. But you get a whole lot in here. A lot of cool stuff, fun to paint too, if you like that. Next one is the original Rebel Fighter Squadrons pack, and it's a toss-up here. But the reason I have this one second is because you already have X-wings, so the X-wings that you get in here are just kind of like overlap. So I'm thinking about value, right? How much new stuff are you going to get for your dollar if they both expansion packs cost the same? Well, this one has some overlap with what you already got in the core set, whereas Rebel Fighters 2 doesn't. However, overlap is minimal. So this was another great squadron pack. A lot of times people will get multiples of these because you're getting staple fighters in here, core staple fighters. So while Rebel Fighters 2 might be your best as your first pack, I think this one might be best if you're planning on getting like 3 of the same ones, because Y-Wings are just a solid bomber and they're cheap. You're getting B-Wings. B-Wings are my favorite ship in the game, and they're really, really good in Armada. B-Wings are great. The X-Wings, okay, you've already probably got... I don't see people field more than 4 X-Wings all that often, so you probably won't need the X-Wings in here. You do get Wedge. It's not super great, though. I mean, there's uses for them. I don't see them used all that much, personally. But, you're getting your X-Wings, your Y-Wings, your A-Wings, your B-Wings. The A-Wings actually are phenomenal. The first Worlds was won by a list with, like, I think something like 6 or 8 A-Wings or something like that. It was a lot of A-Wings. And they're really, really good. So, that's one of the best reasons to buy this pack is for the A-Wings. A-Wings are just amazing ships, and they synergize really well with some of the other builds that we were talking about, like Sato. So you can, get because they're really fast, and you can put them into position so all your ships can take advantage of them as well. Just a great, great pack. And then the last place is the Rogues and Villains pack. The reason I have this one last, even though this is some crucial stuff in here, you're getting good stuff, is that if you're a Rebel player, you're getting half the stuff you can't use. So the Rogues and Villains pack has 4 rogues and 4 villains, right? It's got your bounty hunters, and then it's got, some scum and villainy type, your scoundrels and stuff like that. So you've got like Han Solo, you got Dash Rendar, you've got Jan Ors in the HWK-290, and then you've got, your Skurg bomber with, I think it's Nim in there. So you're only getting 4 ships for the Rebels in here, as opposed to a normal squadron pack where you get 8. And you're only getting 1 of each type. So you're only getting a single YT-1300, and you'll have to choose if you want to run that as Han Solo or a generic YT-1300. If you play both factions, this is great. If you're playing both factions, this might be one of the first buys you get, because one of the things that each faction gets in here is intel. So the HWK-290 in this case, or Jan Ors, is going to give you intel, which gives all the other nearby squadrons heavy, or for nearby enemy squadrons heavy, allowing you to just kind of ignore them, move right past. Amazing ability, and it's kind of crucial to have at least one in a lot of squadron-centric builds. So I'm not saying that this is a bad pack by having it at the bottom of the list. I'm just saying, as far as value and what you're really getting, you're getting the least if you're a purely Rebel player here. If you play both factions equally, then I would elevate this one to the top. And that's about it. I think that's everything. So this has been my 2018 What to Buy First Buyer's Guide for Armada. I hope you liked it. Let me know in the comments below. I do have another round of the giveaway going on right now, so enter to win a $20 Cool Stuff gift card. The only thing it takes is to be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. It's as simple as that. Yeah, so that's about it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Subscribe, click the little bell for alerts, and stay tuned for my Imperial version, which will be coming up shortly. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day.